Hi everyone, and here we are starting week 3. Okay, this video that I'm making you now will appear here. And I don't think there's already another video here. Sometimes I slip in another video. No, there's not. All right, this week we are focusing on the ways that people can be affected by trauma in more extreme situations. So we might think about people that end up with dissociative identity disorder. And some people have trouble figuring out whether or not that's actually a true diagnosis. I've known a number of people who have worked with folks, and it is true that we all have different parts to our personality. They don't become separated in the same way as what happens with dissociative identity disorder. And that is an extreme. So if someone has repeatedly experienced pretty horrific trauma, it's not unusual for people to dissociate, like not think about it. Think about something else. In this case, it becomes so extreme that their personalities become compartmentalized. Okay? There's also complex trauma, and that means that people have had different kinds of trauma, maybe a lifetime of trauma. It can be the intensity of the trauma that might be a factor, but it's more difficult to figure out how to support that person because we have to go take baby steps, but sort of tease apart what's happened to this person over and over again. It can take longer. People can't just get over their trauma. It doesn't work that way. It'd be nice if it did. Snap your fingers, okay? So then, let's see. And then there's developmental trauma disorder, and that really applies to children who are experienced trauma or have experienced extensive trauma, but it can also occur in adults. It probably we would call it complex trauma because that child didn't get the kind of help that they needed. For a long time, people thought, a kid, they have trauma, they get over it, they're resilient. It just doesn't work that way. Our brains are changed by trauma, okay? All right, here we go. So this is a true story. Long time ago, it was referred to as DID, was referred to as multiple personalities. This is a personal story. This week, you're going to focus on a chapter in the Perry and Saltzman's book called Satanic Panic. It's a community-wide trauma event or situation. Okay. Here you're going to read chapter 4, Expressions of Trauma Not Yet Remembered, and then more in the van der Kolk book. So you need those books. You're going to talk about them and use them over and over again, and you're never going to give them away, I promise. These are so good. They're such good books, okay? Then we have the ACE study here. That's something for you to look at, and it's actually situated in a case example. And then here is Dr. van der Kolk's video about affect regulation and what people call borderline personality, another extreme outcome of trauma. And then here, this is a 7-minute video of a person who was victimized as a child, does not remember the trauma, but talks about how they've been affected by it. Okay, remember there's 2 places to upload your TDs. I'll show you all of them. Let's go to the next one. Okay. All right, here is your discussion for this week. And this week you're going to read the chapter 7, Satanic Panic, and you're going to focus on big systems. This is macro. These are things that are overarching. They are situated in our society. Things like laws, regulations, insurance industry, national systems, state systems, policy, advocacy, things like research, like the ACE study, mental health systems. It's not clinical, and it's not about small groups. It's not about the classroom. It's not about being on a team, a sports team, or in a community group or a church group. That's meso. This is about these big systems. So, discuss how the larger system, listed above, contributed to the trauma the children experienced, and include a rationale for your observations. What did you see? Why are you emphasizing what you're seeing? Okay? What kind of system changes and policies would you recommend would be needed to rectify or prevent a situation like this in the future? And in what ways would you hope that these changes might affect the children? So you're using the 3 textbooks to cite and reference, support your ideas, okay? You're making one response to a classmate. Now we have technique demonstrations. So let me go back to the module because let's look at the big picture. I think that would be easier. Okay, so here we have the discussion. And we have Bridget, Gabrielle, Rachel, Megan, and Haley who are presenting. Oh, got to put that up there. Not Rachel. Rachel isn't in the class anymore. So just 4 technique demonstrations. So each person will come here and you will put your video link, just like you did with your introduction video. And then you're going to attach the written instructions. You're also going to come here and upload your technique written instructions with the link on the written instructions here. Okay, this happens in every single week. See, here's the upload. They all go to the same place. This is where I grade it. I just put it in the week that you're doing it because that is just more convenient for you, okay? So that's it. You'll come to each one of these, unless you're Bridget, Gabrielle, Megan, or Haley. You're not going to comment on your own, but you might want to look and see what people are writing to you, okay? And certainly you're welcome to write back to them. That would be lovely. And you're going to watch their technique demonstration, which should be about 6 minutes long. Technique itself needs to be 5 minutes so we can follow along for 5 minutes. If you're meditating, it's 5 minutes. If we're coloring for 5 minutes, okay? Do you think maybe some students haven't done it for 5 minutes that I'm saying this over and over again? Yes, please learn from their mistakes, all right? And then you'll come to each one. And the reason why that it looks like there's a lot, but it's not a lot, you would have had to do the same thing, except it would all be in one place, which was pretty much the most disorganized disaster discussion that was created. So now we've made it a little more organized. All right. So if you have any questions, please ask me. You can message me in the inbox. And I am available on Wednesdays at 4:30. If you're interested in joining me, that's great. You can come late, stay the whole time, come in for a couple of minutes, whatever works for you. Ask your question, you're done, you can leave, whatever works. This past Wednesday, we not only talked about assignments, but we talked about some content too. So that's, completely up to you whether or not you want to do that. If 4:30 is not a good time for you and you wish that I would have it at a different time, then let me know that. and I'll see what I can do. Okay? I will see you in the course. Thank you. Bye.